Alright, so now I'm gonna go down in here and select these two. Going to select mullions, and then I'm gonna remove these. And as for this other side, then I'm gonna have to see what I should put. But as for these, would have to be of the 100 elevation type. Okay, so as you can see here, these mullions are approximately on the right places. And then as for this part, once again, we've got a corner mullion. So the first thing I'm going to do with it is delete. And as for this grid, this one is going to have to go a little bit lower. Or we could have it over here. And so far, this is the position of the other mullions. So for example, if I have this grid be starting from this point, then if we check those other mullions, we will see that they are all adjusted and positioned exactly on their drawings. Now what about the mullions on this side? Again, we're going to try changing the justification. And it looks like N doesn't fix it. And so even if we set it to the center, that probably won't fix it either. So now I'm going to have to select this last mullion at the end and delete it. Alright, now we're going to do the first thing we did, which is that I'm going to change the justification back to beginning. And then I'm going to go over to the mullions and measure the distance between a couple of them. So I'm going to measure from here to see the distance, press the tab key, and it is 33. Now I'm going to select this one and give it the 33 centimeter offset. And there we go. As for this one and this one at the end, we're not going to be needing them, so we will remove them. Also, maybe after you set your justification to something, you won't even get any extra mullions. So there goes that part, and we've got some other mullions on this area. This terrace also needs some mullions, so I could just take this one, then create one similar from it. And then I'm going to start placing the mullions starting from here all the way down to this point. And for the other side, we're going to go all the way and click on this end. And we're going to go all the way up. Now again, we have to change the type of these mullions to 100 centimeters of elevation. And as for the mullions on the left side, they are approximately on the right places, only we're going to need to take this grid and bring it lower. I'm going to try and select this curtain wall, and as you can see, it's trying to select another grid by mistake. So we're going to select this one, then move it a little bit lower. And now these mullions are in the right places, and as for the ones at both ends, we're going to need to remove them. So here's two. And the pair of mullions over on this end. So select. Then this one and these. Actually, let's keep this one because maybe we will need it after we readjust the justification. So let's select these two instead, then check the filter to make sure it's only them. And it looks like we've also selected a wall by mistake. As for up here, we've got this mullion as well. So now we select all of them, then remove. Alright, now I'm going to go down in here and trim these two lines together. And this one would have to go up a little bit. And there we go. Then I'm going to measure this distance. Then I'm going to take that value and set it for the offset of the mullions. Like so. Now we see that we no longer need the two at the ends, so I'm going to select and remove those as well. And that's it. Now if I go take a look at the elevation, then I could check that I have modeled this area. So now I can grab this line and drag it lower, which will then look like this. But also if you take a closer look, you will see that there's another thing going on that we will have to check later. Now I'm going to go back into this floor plan and locate my modelings. That one is over here. That is this area. And now I'm going to take this line and bring it down here. And again, we will see that here we have the same break as well. And as for this part, we've already modeled that. Now, as for the right side of the terrace, which is in fact the right side from our point of view, we're going to have to fix the mullions. And so I see that I started this one from here, and the first thing I need to do is to remove this first mullion. There we go. Then I'm going to bring this grid lower. And as for this mullion down here, we're going to have to move it a little bit to the left. So let's see how it goes. Or you could also use the Align tool to reposition it. So here's one. And now if we try to readjust the other ones, we might want to change the offset. But first I'll try to see if it'll work with the justification. And if none of them worked it out, then we would have to set the offset. So I'm going to grab the Align Dimension tool, then measure this distance. Then I'm going to copy this value. Then select the grid and go to the offset and paste that value in there. And also if you saw that your mullions are going to the opposite side, then you could just have a negative offset. And here is the result. Okay, now back to the elevation. So here we've got this curtain wall, which in the floor plan it would be this one over here. We've selected to highlight it. There's another at the back and one over here. So now I will select this one, then go to the west elevation, and here it is. I'm going to grab this grid and bring it down, and we've got another curtain wall over on this side, which we can also see it in the elevation. So I'm going to go over there and lower this grid a little bit more. Do you see how precise it is? Now these lines are fully aligned and matching. Alright, now over on this side we've also drawn another curtain wall, which is over on the other terrace. Here it is. I'm going to select it, then go to the elevation view, and here it is. So I'm going to lower this grid as well. Now over here we've got a little issue which we're going to have to go over to the floor plan and check to see what's going on. So what do we have here? I'm going to go to the elevation and select these, and then I'm going to go over to the third floor plan. Select this curtain wall as well, then hit HI to hide them temporarily. Now we can still see this curtain wall, so we're going to need to double check it and make sure it is correct. As you can see here, the mullions are not exactly on their positions, so that's why we were seeing that little break. The position of our drawing is a bit different from the AutoCAD's, and that's why we had that strange break in the elevation. So we're going to need to fix this. I'm going to check the entire line to see exactly where the problem lies. As for these first mullions, we've already adjusted them earlier. And now let's go further up and see what's going on. Here we can see that there is a fixed distance between each mullion. We're going to check the whole thing to make sure it goes for all of them. And also remember that these mullions are for a different curtain wall because we've drawn one curtain wall per each set of mullions which are at fixed distances. Here we've got one problem, so the first thing we're going to check is the end of the line to see if the grid is in the right position. Do you notice how when we slightly move the curtain wall, the mullions will be repositioned in the right places? So make sure to always start by checking the end to see if you can fix it from there. So now I'm going to go over here to select these once again. Then I'm going to press HI along with this plan so our view is not too cluttered. Now I can check over here and see what I can do. Alright, so now if I start from over here, I can see that this one has a little bit of distance from the plan. And these mullions go all the way down to here. So now we're going to need to fix these distances. But first I'm going to have to remove this one at the end of the line. So this one's going to go in its place. But as for the other mullions, they still seem to have that teeny bit of distance. So this is probably also fixable by trying to move the grid. And there we go. As you can see now, all the mullions are perfectly in their right places. And that's it. Now let's go back to the elevation and double check. And we can see that the brakes are fixed now. So remember to always start by checking the mullions on both ends, because oftentimes you might see that repositioning them or their grids can fix the problem, just like what we just did. So there we go, and this is basically how you can model and fix your elevations. And another thing that, for example, caught my eye here was this one. You see, this curtain wall is supposed to go all the way up, so we should either have the base of this one to be a bit lower or this one's top a bit higher. Those are some other things that you need to fix. For example, we've got another one on the corner. As you can see, just like that other one, this one has to go up. But also, if you check here, you can see that mistakenly they've got a negative offset. So that's why they look like this. These curtain walls should go straight up. So overall, this is how you check your entire elevations and fix the problems if there are any. Our elevation here is pretty much complete, and so far we've learned how to model the entrances and how to place these solid panels above the curtain walls and what to do for the terraces, which was actually very simple. So you can go ahead and model the other terraces as well.